Welcome to another episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio from Stewards Planning Group. Stewards Planning Group is a company that specializes in helping you build purposeful retirement plans, custom plans that not only help clients steward their treasure, but also their time and talent as well. They believe if you're taken care of financially, you can go even further to make the family, community, and kingdom impact you truly desire to make, which is the ultimate purpose of wealth. If you'd like to set up a no-cost, no-obligation meeting with one of their financial advisors, please give them a call at 222-4236. You can request a meeting at stewardsplanning.com, or you can simply stop by their office on 19th Avenue Southwest in Wilmer.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio. I'm your host, Ben Taatjes, and normally at this point I say I'm joined with one of our talented advisors here in the office with me. However, all of our talented advisors are meeting with clients today, and we've got to get a radio show out. I'm trying to just solo monologue this today, so sorry about that to our listeners, but I've been on this show for I must be almost 10 years now we've been doing this show, and I usually have a guest from the past. I had Jared Sebesta, who still does the Retire Repurposed podcast with me every single week, and I enjoy that time, and normally I have one of our talented financial advisors on this show with me, but today it's just me. You're stuck with just me, and I just wanted to reflect a little bit on some of the shows that we've been doing recently, and also reflect, quite honestly, on the time of year we're in. You know, it's the season of gratitude. You know, a lot of people talk about that, this being right around Thanksgiving. It shouldn't be the only time that we realize how good we have it in this country, how grateful we should be, but yet it is the time of season where we do tend to talk about gratitude more than the other. So I want to start there, and I want to start with, just making sure that, in my life, no matter what I'm going through, and I would encourage our listeners to do the same, to be full of gratitude. Something our office started doing was doing these monthly Thankful Thursdays, where we will note something on Facebook and just kind of create a post. And this last week, we had posted this. It says, "Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you do not have. Remember that what you now have was once among the things you had hoped for." Sounds like a lot of words, but really what we're saying there is realizing that once you get to a certain point, whether it be financially or however, whatever goals that you've set out there, the goalpost tends to move. And once we're there, we're setting new goalposts. We're moving closer and closer to what we think eventually, if success is a motivator, something that we'll never achieve. And the point of that post was to make sure we're taking a step back and being thankful and being, really having that heart of gratitude every single day. That's something I've had to really put into practice lately. I've just been going through a lot of different things, and at the end of the day, an important thing for me is starting with this exact thing. The thing that we're telling our clients to do is to be grateful for what we do have, not for what we don't. And I think that ties well into our work is creating stewards plans as well. So as many of you know, our company went through a pretty big shift about 5 or 6 months ago, where we renamed the company Stewards Planning Group. And it was an intentional move on my part and our team's part to get my name off the company, not because I was going anywhere. I'm still here doing the same thing I was doing then. Our team is still doing the same thing we were doing then, but it isn't about me. It isn't about me owning this company or controlling this company. It's simply a group of people, like-minded people, that are trying to accomplish a common goal together. And what our team continued to talk about was stewardship. We want to be a group of people who stand for good stewardship. And one of the things that I've heard from clients and people in the community is, yeah, but that's not really me. I'm not a big giver, and I don't give. And I said, well, I'm not talking about giving. I'm talking about stewardship. That stewardship is really the thoughtful care of something that's entrusted to one, and it really looks at it differently. It looks at everything we have. For me, being a person of faith is being God's first. I'm simply looking at what I am in charge of, what I'm entrusted to watching, as being something that I don't have to control, but I have to steward. I have to manage it well, right, and do my very best with it, but it is not for me to own and control, if that makes sense. So our team made that shift, and one of the cool things that's come out of that is the people that are here right now working for this group are aligned. We believe in that message. We believe that we're a group of advisors and a team of people that are working together to promote stewardship, to promote a proper understanding of money, to help people steward their time, talent, and treasure. And one of the pieces that this show always ties back into is some specific financial ideas that tie back into stewardship. And like Matt and I talked about on Money Mindset with Matt last week, this week I want to tie back into this idea of giving. And again, stewardship is not all about giving, but I would argue that in order to be a good steward, there must be some giving. And it promotes this open-handedness, this I don't own it all, God, you own it. It is not for me to control. It is not for me to hoard or hold on to tightly. And in this season, we do a lot of that at our firm. In fact, we've actually moved strides to begin tracking something that I like to call AUM, Assets Under Mission. And that's not assets under management. Most financial advisory firms tracks that, and they track how much they have in management, and that becomes a goal. And certainly it is an engine that does provide us the ability to do our job. There needs to be some profit that we have, and we try to help our clients more and more so that they do and trust us with their assets here. But more importantly than that, we're tracking assets under mission. These are dollars that our clients have decided to give with, to steward well by saying, I'm going to make a charitable gift. I'm either going to move money into a donor-advised fund, or I'm going to do a QCD. It's something you've heard many times on this show, and this is the time of year that a lot of people are doing those. And I won't get into all the details of a QCD other than know that it stands for Qualified Charitable Distribution. And for many of our clients who are now of the age at which the government makes them take money out of their retirement account through a required minimum distribution, and actually a few years before that, once you're 70 and a half, you're allowed to send money directly from your IRA to a charity of your choosing. And it's a great way to utilize, in a very tax-efficient way, charitable giving. So many of our clients are utilizing this right now, and I'd just like to make our listeners aware of that. If you want help and you're trying to decide, how do I better steward, and I'm just going to start small, I'm going to start giving something away, give our office a call. We'd like to sit down with you, talk through what a steward's plan is all about, and how utilizing a QCD or qualified charitable distribution might fit in, and how that can be part of really the assets under mission. That means assets that are being stewarded and taken care of for charities, for your community, for doing good around you. So, we'd be excited to talk to any of our listeners about that. And until next week, from all of us at Stewards Planning Group, steward well.
Do you need help stewarding your time, your talent, or your treasure? If so, Stewards Planning Group can help. Now is the time to set up a no-cost, no-obligation meeting. You can do this one of three ways. Number one, give them a call right now at 222-4236. You can request a meeting online at stewardsplanning.com, or you can just stop by their office located on 19th Avenue Southwest in Wilmer. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio. We'll see you next time.
Securities offered through Cetera Wealth Services, LLC, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cetera Investment Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Cetera is under separate ownership from any other named entity.